Hello, hello. Welcome back to English 121. It is Wednesday, and I just wanted to leave you a midweek update. So, first things first, you will notice that I have graded everything from last week. If you go to your grade book in the black navigation bar at the top of your screen, click on Grades, you will see that you have points attached to different assignments, and I just wanted to draw your attention to the learning activity quiz overall feedback. What I've done here is left instructions or directions for how you can find my specific comments on your specific answers to the learning activity quiz. I didn't respond to every single question that you answered, but often I wanted to leave you a little note. So this is how you find that information, and that is all detailed in the grade book. So I just wanted to let you know I leave you feedback on just about everything you do, and I want to make sure you can find it. Next up, I want to make sure you are working through the checklist. So if you go to the black navigation bar again at the top of your screen, you will see a checklist button. You can access this from content under week 2. It's also linked in the news feed, but you can get there through checklist as well. So checklist, week 2, it pops up that list of things that you should be doing in the order that I recommend that you complete them. So stick with me. I will make sure that you are on track. So make sure you're going through these assignments and checking deadlines and multiple deadlines sometimes and checking them off your list. With the pre-writing and brainstorming discussion boards for the This I Believe essay, I wanted to make sure that you knew if you go to discussions for week 2, you will see brainstorming where you guys are doing some amazing brainstorming work. I'm very excited about that. And you will notice that I have responded to just about everybody up until last night, and then I will hop back online today to start responding to the folks who posted later last night or earlier today. So you will notice that there is this Kathleen Mullins in here all the time. I tried to give everybody some feedback on your brainstorming and your ideas for this essay. If you go back to week 2 again in the discussion boards, I want you all to go to the pre-writing discussion board. And when you are there, look for my post. It's pinned right here at the top, so it shouldn't move. It should always be at the top of your discussion board post. And this again is in pre-writing. It says, "Note from Kathy, get specific." If you click on that, you will see I've written a lengthy post encouraging you all to take these big, broad overviews that you are sharing right now in the pre-writing board and really get specific, because storytelling is about something that you would share around a campfire. Challenge yourself to see if you can start your story with the words one day or one moment or 1 minute. See if you can take the general stories that you're all sharing right now and get really, really specific. Give us a particular example. Tell us what was going on in your mind during that specific example. Tell us what something felt like. So you want us to see and feel this experience rather than just kind of telling us about it broadly. So get really specific. One day when I was camping, not every single camping trip you've ever taken, not the fact that you went camping a lot, not that camping is a great thing, not that camping is something your family loves to do. But in addition to those big statements, one day when I was camping and we were about to fall asleep in our tent on the bank of the river, gunshots rang out across the canyon and we froze in our sleeping bags as we tried to decide what to do next. That is the beginning of a story. A true story, mind you, but that's a story. Specific details, right? You would describe what the sand felt like underneath your sleeping bag and how that felt like something that was better than any sleeping pad that you'd ever used before, and you were finally ready to drift off into the most amazing camp sleep ever, and you could hear the river rushing by, and it was so soothing until your heart stopped when you heard the gunshot ring out. And then you would go on to describe in detail sight, sound, taste, touch, all of those things. What were you hearing? What were you thinking? Those are the details that need to go into your story. So, excuse me. Please go ahead and go to the pre-writing discussion board and read that note that I left for you. It's pinned at the top of the list here so that you can find it easily. And then last but not least, as you are moving on to start thinking about how to turn this story into an actual full-blown This I Believe essay, I will be posting this in a bit here in the week 2 content, but I wanted to point out that your classmates had some really excellent observations about the characteristics of This I Believe essays. Walter said that they start off typically with a thesis stating what the author believes and follow up with a story-style telling of life experience that supports the thesis. Yes. Unique voice, topic that's important to them. Absolutely. Priscilla said that she would tell someone who didn't know about these essays to pick something that inspires them and that they are passionate about. Excellent advice. Becca said that This I Believe essays are very personal, so don't be afraid to share your personality through your writing. And there is a difference between personal and private, but she's absolutely right that This I Believe essays are about us, about our life. Ellie said that the writer's opening paragraphs all started with I believe, and then they tell the reader a story about life experiences and how that shaped them into becoming who they are and why they have that particular belief, and that they end again with an I believe closing statement. And she encourages us to finish with telling the reader why you still believe. So everyone's doing a great job of identifying the characteristics of This I Believe essays, and you'll really want to keep that in mind as you write your own. Kayla talked about clear introductions so that your readers know what you're talking about, and a conclusion that helps them understand why you have that opinion. Diane talks about telling stories from the past and then moving on to reflecting on those changing events or realizations. And reflection is a key part of storytelling, and that it's important to write from the heart. And then finally, Joe wrote that stories have always been a channel for connecting readers with the author. One of the reasons why we are practicing some storytelling now is because you'll be able to integrate narrative and storytelling into all types of writing as elements of argument and elements of persuasive pieces and elements of even causal analysis writing assignments. Narrative can be infused into all sorts of writing activities. So stories are definitely a way to connect with your readers. Each of the texts begins with the author's statement of belief and concludes with a takeaway for future consideration of that belief. And then he ends by saying, giving the readers the opportunity to experience what it was like to be there goes a long way to facilitate understanding. And that brings me back to my point from the discussion board, where we need to actually feel like we have been there with you, that we can see it, taste it, touch it, smell it, hear it, that we need to be there with you in your story. So try moving those from these big, broad statements that you are making. Start there and then dig into something more specific. So I'm going to upload that Word document here for you in a minute, a video from Ira Glass that I think might be helpful. I encourage you to go back and look at that PowerPoint I created and the article about narrative description through sensory detail. Those will all be important as you start moving into your rough draft, because heads up, our writing workshop is first thing next week. So this has been a long video. Thank you for hanging with me for this long. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.